Hello, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here. Let's have a conversation today that leans toward the very practical, which is, in theory, every single conversation, because that's actually how we learn this or any spiritual path. It's by our direct and practical application in our lives, day to day, moment to moment. That's what it's all about. Because we can theorize all we want. We can pour through a text or a workbook lesson. We can read materials online. We can watch videos online all the way to the end and subscribe if you haven't. Just saying. We can do these things. And we can learn a great deal, but the real learning comes from practical application. It's by taking the ideas. This course is no different from any spiritual tradition in this sense. It's by taking the ideas that are presented and putting them into practice in your life, putting them into practice, doing it. That's where we learn, and it is so powerful because that's how we prove to ourselves that these ideas are true, even if they're far out at first and wild and completely mind-blowing to the extent where you might find yourself thinking, this can't possibly be true. What the hell is this anyway? You might have thought that. Maybe you're thinking it now. The practical application is what matters the most because our experience shows us, it proves to us, it demonstrates to us experientially the most powerful way possible that these ideas are true. Ultimately, all of this is about experience. Enlightenment doesn't come from a book. It does not come from watching a video. It comes from experience. Once we have clarified our perception, in other words, once we've learned to see things as they are rather than the way we have made and fashioned them and completely messed them up here in the world. Once we learn to do that, truth dawns of itself. We simply know God. In other words, we simply experience God. It's experience that shows us truth. Words only point to truth. However, while we appear to be here, they have a lot of meaning for us. So even though they're just symbols, I invite you to listen to them as they present this course to you. When something lands, it's the Holy Spirit. It is your inner teacher, whom, of course, you're welcome to call by any name you want. After all, a name is just a name. It's nothing. And what matters is that you open yourself to the constant, loving guidance of our inner teacher, and you do as instructed. That's pretty much it. Now, let's address as a practical matter some of the sheer magnitude of these ideas. They're very simple. And we're so conditioned in the world to think that reality has to suck. I mean, aren't we? We're so conditioned to think that things have to be so complicated that when we're presented with something disarmingly simple, emphasis on disarming, when we're presented with something that's disarmingly simple, there is an instant pause, isn't there? And that may precipitate an existential panic, though I hope not. It's not uncommon. because we've been so conditioned to think that reality is so complex that we don't understand it. Well, no wonder we've fashioned a morass of shifting things, and everything is in constant flux and transformation. It's no wonder we don't get it. It's not going to be gotten, and the answers to our one problem, separation, the problem, the only problem, the only dilemma, just one, separation. The answer to this is not to be found in the world that we see with the body's eyes. It's not to be found in our treasures here in the world. Sex, good wine, rock and roll. It's not to be found in that, as lovely as that is. Money, it's not to be found in that, as wonderful and useful as that is. Yeah. It's not to be found in our job or the status of our physical health or our relationship status or any of that. The answer is within. And that's, as we run around, precisely what we're afraid of, which is why these very simple ideas can give us pause. I mean, perhaps you're thinking, this can't possibly be. Oh, it is. It is. This won't be the last time you hear it. If you never watch another one of these videos, that's completely up to you. If you decide that you're not going to study or practice A Course in Miracles, that doesn't make any difference. It's your choice. The beauty of this is it's a self-study curriculum. So you're not going to be doomed and condemned if you don't do exactly what the leader of this course says. You know what? There is no leader of this course. It's not a religion. It's not a cult. There is no figure that is in charge of it. It is by design, brilliant design, a self-study curriculum. That is the genius of this course. You take what you're willing to take at a given time. The course, Jesus puts it a little bit differently than that. You take what you want to take at a given time. Yeah, you take what you're willing to take at a given time. How much you may be able to handle depends on the day. So if you're new to this, it's a really important consideration, because the purpose of this course is to flip our perception on, not on its head, but to flip it around right side up. It is wrong. This is not you. I know you know that, or you would not be interested in spirituality to begin with. And yeah, no, of course. Right? We're learning here to see things as they are, not the way we have made them. So along the way, you'll be presented many times over with some very simple sounding ideas. Here's one: God is. What else is there to say? Nothing. What's implicit in that two-word and two-syllable statement is very important. When we say God is, and we shut up completely, the implicit part is very important. Only God is. All else is illusion. So that's one of these ideas. You are not a body. Ultimately, you know that. You know that anyway. So my hope is this serves as some form of confirmation for you. Perhaps it's a joyous confirmation or a clarification, or perhaps it induces an aha moment of, yeah, I'm glad somebody said that because I've always known. Of course, you've always known. You are not a body. Here's another one. There is no world. That is the central teaching of A Course in Miracles, which, of course, you can't expect everybody around you to just adopt the way you're going to adopt it. And even if you reject it today, you've never left your source. Here's another: ideas leave not their source. What do we mean by this? You're an idea. You're not a compound body of flesh and blood that's 80% water. Yeah, no. You're the thought of God, the extension of God, and ideas leave not their source, capital S. Where are you? Who are you? What are you? Only God is. There is no separation of any kind. There is no separation of any kind. There never has been, and there never will be. We're perfectly at home in God. So, these are just a few of the ideas that the world doesn't believe. So, as you go forth and practice this, as you may know, if you've been practicing this for a long time, and many of you have, you can't expect people to beat down your door and want to agree with you, right? So, what do? Well, we do all of this because it's self-study, and there's no group leader. I'm simply a guide myself. I'm here to answer questions and to help as I may. We're encouraged and invited to do this course, to learn it and practice it under the guidance of our inner teacher, who will direct us where to go, if anywhere, what to say and to whom, what to do. We have only to set our own ego aside. Set the ego aside. It's nothing. There is no separation of any kind, and the ego is a simple mistake. It is a belief in a separate self. The separation is the only mistake that needs correction. So we accept the correction of our inner teacher, which is always loving and never forceful. You'll notice that A Course in Miracles does not have a list of prohibited behavior. There's no thou shalt not. Thou shalt not have a good time with thy neighbor. But there's nothing like that. You've been drawn to this material for, I'm guessing, many reasons. Which ones? I don't know. But when something lands for you, it is your inner teacher speaking to you. So we do this work, the work of true forgiveness, the work of extending love to our brother under the guidance of our inner teacher. The more we connect with our inner teacher, the more we set the ego aside. The ego wants us to do everything on our own. How's that working out for you? Exactly. So we're invited to turn our experience over to our inner teacher. Inner, and I emphasize the word inner deliberately and repeatedly because the Holy Spirit is part of our mind. It is not a power outside of us. It is not separate from us. So we're not handing over control of our lives to an outside power. Nor are we being dangled like a puppet on a string. This course simply states the truth. Truth is beyond words. It can only be experienced. So as close as we can come is to say, God is, and to fall silent. That's as close as we can get in words. But because we're so conditioned to think that this is us, we need words, a lot of them, over 1,000 pages of them. We need videos. We need different learning aids. And that's what these videos are. They're designed to supplement your own learning and never to substitute from your connection with your inner teacher, but to supplement it, to enhance it. And I'm here for your questions if you've got them. To the extent that these ideas are different, they're different than what we're taught in the world. That's what you're looking for. So you deserve nothing less. How about that? You deserve nothing less. To the extent that they blow your mind, no problem. I mean, you don't have to accept or believe them right away. Jesus, who dictated the course, by the way, tells us this in the workbook for students, that we don't have to believe the ideas. We don't. In fact, we may actively resist them. We're asked only to put them into practice. Where something really brilliant and magnificent takes place, our experience shows us they're true. We prove this to ourselves. Want proof? Good. I hope you do want proof. Prove it to yourself. That's how we do it. And what a powerful way to learn. Because somebody can tell you, somebody who appears to be outside of you can tell you, no, reality is not that, it's this. But they're only pointing to it. That's all we can do. You're the one that experiences it. We're all appearing to experience an individuality, but it is a dream. There is only perfect oneness. You're one with God. So if you take nothing away from today's discussion but that, take that. And to the extent that you get discouraged on the path, understand that that's common. Honestly, it is. We're invited to question things. Question everything. I invite you. But don't stop at just questioning this pixelated image on your screen or this course. A big, thick book that's over 1,000 pages long. Question it. Go ahead, do. But while you're at it, don't stop. Continue to question until you find yourself questioning the very foundations of everything you now believe. And question those. That would be very, very useful. Now, day to day, as things come up, I am here to answer any questions that you may have. So if you've got them, please feel welcome to leave them. This is the subscription arrow. So if you have not joined us, please do. We'd love to have you. Several videos appear each week, and we're going through the text of A Course in Miracles, and often we will pause to have a discussion just such as this. So questions, I'd love to hear from you. Even if you just want to stop in and say hello, we've got a growing international community, and I will talk to all of you very soon.